The canine star of a fictional sci-fi action show believes his powers are real and embarks on a cross-country trek to save his co-star from a threat he also believes is just as real.
Welcome to the Walt Vault with
Michelle,
Andre,
Louise,
and me, Emily. We're a family-friendly podcast where we pick a new Disney movie each week. We watch it, share our thoughts, and then relate it to pop culture, fandoms, and anything else that pops into our heads. Enjoy!
hello and welcome to the Walt Vault, episode 46.
we're in the 40s.
Something
We forget
like
when you get
48?
old in the 40s.
I should have
Memories
looked this up
going down.
before the
46.
podcast. 46.
46.
I was right. Episode 46. This week we are talking about the Disney 3D animated film Bolt.
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 From the year 2008.
8.
Okay.
Directed by Byron Howard
2008.
and Chris Williams, starring Johnny Travolta, Miley Cyrus, and Susie Essman. And
You know, when
some others.
When I heard Miley Cyrus, I was like, oh, dear.
Dude, when we heard John Travolta, we're like, ugh.
He was Bolt, right?
I can't.
See-
Okay, I'm gonna start with this. I can't believe that John Travolta made himself sound as like young as he did, considering that he's like 100 years old.
True.
Not 100
He's
years
not that
old.
man.
Have you seen John Travolta lately?
No.
The dude has not aged.
Pretty sure Ray Liotta is a million times older than he is. And they're pretty much the same person.
Yeah.
First impression.
Andre.
I like this movie a lot. I think I had seen it once when it came out, like maybe when it came out on like DVD or something like that, and so I vaguely remembered it. But watching it this time was really fun, and there was a lot of cool action scenes, and there was a lot of fun humor and a very fun hamster. I was very into this movie. Good stuff. Bolt.
Okay, I thought I had watched this movie before, but I didn't remember it at all, so I don't think I did. So I'm going to go with this as the first time I watched this movie, and it was good. I was pleasantly surprised, and yeah, you're right, it was a very fun hamster. Emily.
Agreed. I really liked this movie. I enjoyed it the whole way through. My only complaint is that it was kind of a duh story. Like we knew exactly where it was going.
Yeah.
But if you resign yourself to that's kind of where Disney was in their repertoire at that time,
Right.
then I really enjoyed it. The hamster was fab. Oh my gosh.
Hamster.
Luis, did you hate the hamster?
Nah, you know what? I like the hamster. Let me see though. Who did I hate in that?
Any of the pigeons?
Hold on. Let's get to the characters
Okay.
when we get to it.
First impression, Lou.
Oddly enough, I was kind of like you in that boat, Michelle, where I'm not exactly sure if I watched it, but I do specifically remember watching the first 10 minutes of it. The whole
okay.
action scene.
Remember that action
So
scene.
then I don't remember the rest. Pretty sure I stopped watching at that point. But anyways,
Right.
It was a very, very good movie. I think this is one of the most... This was one of the movies I was most into. Like, on the edge of my seat most into.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun
Yeah.
watching this movie.
Yeah. I think this
It was
movie
very fun.
is like fairly underrated. Like I don't think about Bolt a lot. I don't see stuff about Bolt ever. There's no Bolt merch out in the wild going around.
No.
But this movie was like crazy enjoyable.
I would want to say this is top 3 most underrated movies.
It's
right,
very good.
Right behind
The-
Atlantis.
The only thing that
Oh, yeah,
threw
Atlantis
me
is good.
is when it said Miley Cyrus, and I was like, oh, she's a main character. Not that she's a bad actress or anything like that. She had done a lot of these type of roles at that time, but I was kind of like, oh yeah, this is from that era.
She's still kind of in her Hannah Montana
acting. Yeah.
Gets
It
the
was
it's
that
okay.
era.
best of
You
It's
know?
both
okay.
worlds.
But honestly, she was in the movie, but her character didn't have like a super big role. It was all about Bolt.
Yeah.
Right? And
So
he's
Miley
a very
Cyrus
cute
played
dog.
Penny,
Yes.
which
So
was the human,
the
right?
human
Yes.
girl,
Okay,
yes.
that's why it didn't bother me. Because I guess I never, like when I knew that Miley Cyrus had voiced a character, but when I was watching it, I didn't think like, oh, that's definitely Miley
Right,
Cyrus.
yeah.
We got her, credit song, but that was to be expected, right?
You know.
Miley Cyrus
Yeah,
credit
she
song
wasn't-
with a Miley Cyrus role.
I think she like took this role fairly seriously and did like a cartoony kid voice and didn't put like a whole
Yeah,
Miley
I'm pretty sure
stamp
this
all
was
over
still
it.
like Hannah Montana face. Like she
Right,
was still in that
But
acting.
even on that show, she was like Mileying it up. You know, she was had her southern accent and stuff going. It's pretty
yeah,
strong.
she toned down the southern accent.
Yeah, exactly for this
Maybe
movie.
that's
And
why it didn't bug me as much.
Yeah.
Exactly,
you know?
it made for a good performance. From
Yeah, she was
Penny.
great. And honestly, I John Travolta, like I could tell it was his voice, but he did great.
Yeah, it wasn't distracting.
Yeah, it wasn't distracting. Like, oh, that's John Travolta's voice. That I couldn't like put his voice into a dog. You know, like he
Right.
did good.
Wasn't thinking about grease lightning on the side of Bolt's body.
I
the
was
entire
trying
time.
to though. I was thinking.
I
him-
kind of wanted him to get into a nice.
I was thinking of his like hairspray role
Yeah.
in the back of my head because that's like the most recent thing I've seen him in. So I was like, there he is, hairspray.
Peeps, let me just throw it out there. Grease was an awesome movie. I
Yeah.
hope you all freaking agree.
Grease is
'cause
great.
I'm just saying. Okay, anyways.
But as a white person, I'm just going to throw it out there. It is the most watched movie on any old-timey-wimey TV show. So, like, channel, excuse me.
Yes.
So, you know how many times I've seen it? Like, probably more than any other movie ever in my life. Is that a truism for you as well? Like,
Yeah.
Grease is the musical
Grease-
for whites.
That's the OG musical.
Yeah.
That's
And
like if I'm introducing my future children to musicals, we're watching Grease.
Listen.
Like that's like the thing.
Grease came out when my mom was a teenager, and my mom's sister, worked at a movie theater. So my mom went and saw Grease 27 times.
Oh,
that summer.
I totally. You know, your mom's the best. I love it.
She had some summer loving and
Yeah.
all had to do with John Travolta.
And I think we can all say us three choir geeks over here. It was Grease Lightning all day.
Well, he was a fine specimen.
He was a
in that
hunk.
movie.
Hunk of burning love.
There
I know
was
that's
some-
not from that, but it's okay.
Not so much now.
Hashtag Disney dog.
You know, he was a great Disney dog, though. Let's talk about Bolt.
Hold on, I need to
Oh.
back up before you say he was a great Disney dog.
Oh.
I'm not saying it was bad, but I feel like they could have put a plethora of voices as Bolts, and it wouldn't have
Oh,
made
for
any
sure.
difference
Yeah,
to me.
exactly.
Oh, yeah,
It did not
definitely.
have to be John Travolta.
On the we'll continue to talk about Bolt because I want to, but on the other hand, Mittens, this Essex lady, what's her name?
The cat.
Hang
the
on.
cat. Her name was
cat.
Mittens.
Susie Essman.
Susie Essman did a phenomenal job
She was good.
as
so
Mittens.
I liked her.
I love her. Susie Essman, she plays a role on Curb Your Enthusiasm, like the HBO show with Larry David, and she plays like the wife of Larry David's best friend, and she like just hates Larry David, so she's always like yelling at him, and so it
She
was
has a
very
great
it was,
voice.
it was very reminiscent of that show, her being this sassy cat. I
But she
love
had the
Mittens.
perfect cat voice. Like
She did.
I'm not a cat person, but I loved Mittens. Like she made me love this cat, like this little rundown, skinny little
She
tiny
was running
kitty.
scams on pigeons.
That was
With
fantastic.
she was like, I'm gonna get these claws on you. She didn't even have any
She was
claws.
completely
she was
declawed.
declawed. Yeah, like that
So,
was
I
a
guess-
good cat.
I guess my point there is that like they could not have changed her voice out and it would have
No,
been as good. But
no,
for
no, no,
John,
no, no.
little Johnny, he could have been changed out.
but he
Sure.
did well.
But he did do well.
It's
Also,
funny you say that. I think Ellen DeGeneres and
Susie Essman.
this other actress. Yeah. I'm forgetting her name, guys. Help me out. She did Glee.
Oh, are you trying to say
Jane Lynch.
Jane
yeah,
Lynch?
I'm sure Jane Lynch. Never mind. Let me take Jane Lynch out there. She's too aggressive. No, but I truly believe that if you would have gotten Ellen DeGeneres in that role,
to do the cat.
do the cat, that's the closest you'd be able to rival this lady.
Well, Ellen
Interesting.
DeGeneres is just fabulous.
But
you
she
know,
had already
so-
done.
It would have been like
Dory.
anti-Dory.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she had already done Dory.
and
though.
I understand that. That's why I'm saying like this woman's voice definitely was. A
Oh, it
perfect
was
role for
wonderful.
her.
Jane
Yeah.
Lynch probably would have been funny, but we would have had.
She's
like,
also
I thought she would have
great.
been too aggressive though.
There's these women
Maybe.
that have these voices, you know, that are made for like voice acting.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love that.
Well, I
Agreed.
mean,
But-
Jane Lynch is killing it in Wreck-It Ralph. So
Oh
you know,
yeah!
she got her
oh my
Disney role.
girl in
Truth.
Wreck-It Ralph. I love
She
her.
even looks like Jane
Exactly.
Lynch. I freaking love
so
it.
good. Also, who was the voice of said hamster Rhino?
So-
because bravo, Rhino was a great character. Who wrote him in? They were smart.
Mark Walton.
Yeah, Mark Walton is he's an animator for Disney. He's a
Okay.
he's a storyboard artist. He's done a couple of other
Like
acting
small-
acting stuff. He was in Chicken Little as
I love Chicken Little.
as Goosey Lucy.
Oh my
And
name is Goofy Lucy.
and
you
then
guys,
he was
I love
in,
me some Chicken Little.
He was in Turbo as well, and Home on the Range. So
first off, Turbo was fantastic. I love that.
I've never seen Turbo.
I didn't see Turbo.
You've never seen.
I've never seen Turbo.
I've seen Home on the Range.
You need to see Turbo.
It's good.
It's a super speed movie.
They
right?
have Dos Bros Tacos.
Oh
I
my
freaking
God.
love.
Well,
All
then
right.
y'all need to watch
Turbo.
me some Chicken Little because the sky is falling. The sky is falling.
Wait a minute. Isn't Turbo Owen Wilson?
I don't think so.
Or
I don't-
Luke?
Wow. The sky
No.
is falling.
It's definitely not Disney, so it doesn't make a difference. But
It's
it-
DreamWorks. That's right.
it is a very good movie, though.
No, I haven't seen that. Okay, fine. We'll watch Turbo. Y'all watch Chicken Little.
Turbo
All right, call
was
it a day.
played by Ryan Reynolds. There we go.
He's just plaguing my life, this Ryan. We'll talk about that at a different time.
So, anyways, Rhino made this movie for me. Like there was no. They kept him in his hamster ball. Like you can't do that and have it not be comical. He's running around in his little hamster ball the whole movie. It's
I just
brilliant.
like that he was very down to commit murder at all times.
He thought he was a superhero, and you know what? He committed to that role.
He said, "Oh, there's a guard. I'll snap his neck."
I like how nothing was ever impossible for him.
Yeah,
Like
has
there was
no-
never
no limits.
There was no
for Rhino.
like
He was like, "Let's go all day."
He's like the cat's like what 2 feet off there. He's like, I'm gonna go get a ladder. And you're like thinking, what the heck is the guy that freaking brings a whole at least 12-foot ladder? I'm like, how the heck are you doing this?
And how
He's
does he
rolling
do?
in between the
Determination.
rungs?
How does he do all of these things in his hamster ball, which is great.
He's amazing.
My favorite moment of him is when he's running in. The place is on fire, and he was like, I don't know. He's like, it's a good day to die. And he lifts his hands up, right, as to hold up said building falling. But his hands don't even touch the top of his ball. Like, come on.
But here's the deal. I do 100% believe those hamster balls would be able to hold that.
To hold that up?
Yes,
Yeah,
because
that's-
those things
for
are
sure.
sturdy
That's
as
the tough
heck.
plastic.
I had
baby.
a hamster as a child. His name was Hambone. And
Almost
he
as
loved
good as
being in
Rhino.
a hamster ball. So, they like them hamster balls.
Okay, so I'm gonna back everyone up. We're gonna go over the story just a tad.
Let's
just
do
a
that.
little
Sorry.
bit. No, that's fine
I love
because
said hamster.
these characters are
Rhino.
just done so well. So I was very surprised. The movie opens with Bolt, our
Yes.
dog.
He's a little puppy.
He's a little puppy, and he gets
Adopted.
Carrot.
adopted.
Oh.
A carrot.
Well, he does have a carrot.
Yes, he has his little squeaky carrot. So he gets adopted by Little Penny.
Yes.
And then it says like 5 years later or however many years later, you see them and they look like they're in this alternate universe. He's been upgraded, like scientifically modified, and they are in a full-on
Action scene.
action sequence that is so amazing. I had such a fun time watching it, and I kept saying to Luis, I kept looking over and being like, Luis, isn't this so cool? And he just had a face on like, yeah, it's cool.
No,
And I'm
it
like,
was so
this
cool.
Is so
It was
cool.
awesome.
If
Are you
Bolt-
ready? This is why. Because when it was over and you realized that it was all fake and that it was for the cameras and that he's a movie star or whatever, Luis looks at me and is like, see, I knew you would be sad. I knew it was fake. And I was like, it's fake.
Right? Why isn't this the whole movie?
I thought
Let's
the whole movie
go.
was going to be like this.
But if they made that into a TV show for children, I would be all about it. Like if
Oh,
Bolt
yeah.
was actually a TV show for
Oh, yeah.
kids, they would love it.
Yeah.
Superhero dog, you can't go wrong with the superhero
Truth.
dog.
It was just so cool. Like truly a great action scene. I want the Incredibles to get a dog now.
Right? They need a dog. They need
Super
Bolt.
dog.
Yeah.
Bolt should just go and like join up. Like they'll make
Exactly.
like their own Avengers or X-Men or
I love super dogs.
I-Men, I guess.
I mean,
Luis was shaking his head. He didn't like super dogs.
No. I wasn't shaking my head over that.
Oh,
But
okay.
you wouldn't watch a superhero dog TV show?
What if Abby loved it?
No.
She would love it.
no.
No, it doesn't make a
No.
difference.
She loves Douglas, so she would love a Super Bowl.
Oh, Adeline loves dogs. She was watching this movie, and during that action sequence, I have never seen her eyes glued to the screen like that. She was like,
You know
Because
what?
it's amazing.
How could I forget that? I don't think she took her eyes off of that movie unless we took drew her
moved her?
attention.
oh yeah, she was so into Bolt, she thought it was the business.
Oh, that's precious.
She loved the dog. So we find out very, very early, within the first 5 minutes after this, super cool, which I found out later they took inspiration from Michael Bay, very obviously.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
Lots of
Everything
explosions.
exploding.
After this super cool
action scene.
sequence. You find out that Bolt really thinks he is a superhero, but everyone else around him knows that it's not, including Penny, even though he is her dog.
Which is so weird. That concept kind of...
and
it
the
was
evil
weird.
cats even knew.
The cats.
That was so mean.
But for me, okay, listen. This was my qualm with that fact. When I was reading the description of the movie, apparently Bolt is a German Shepherd.
White German Shepherd.
He's a white German Shepherd. German Shepherds are literally some of the smartest dogs on the planet. So you're telling me that dog knew that he just went into this trailer and the day was over, there was no more danger? Like, I don't think... I think that was a stretch.
Well, you have to remember that,
I don't know.
That for most of the episodes that Bolt stars in, they like save the day at the end of the episode, so he gets to go home and hang out until there's another dangerous event that happens the next day.
And I think that particular point is what kind of changes the rest of the movie, because he believes at the end of every episode that everything is good, the day is saved.
Right.
But we see kind of in the background that the technical director that's like filming and they're editing all this footage, they realize very quickly that the network's pretty much going to cut them if they don't make it more interesting for 18 to 35-year-olds.
Right.
Which is so funny.
And I have to imagine that the budget for this show is very high. They have to
ridiculous.
They have to live tape
explode everything
around a dog so that he thinks that everything is real.
When they see the boom mic, they're like, no, it's a boom mic.
And then they're like, what's the big deal? And he's like, if he sees the boom mic, then he knows that's not real.
Which is so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Hilarious.
gosh.
And you would think that that's just like a director being all artsy-fartsy and all that stuff. But in reality, you don't really know that he really thinks it's real until after he says that.
And
Right,
also,
yeah, that's true.
going on what Emily said, the reason Bolt is okay with it is everything is good at the end of the day. So this movie takes a turn when Penny, his owner, gets stolen. They don't get to go home together.
Yeah, so the
That's
network
when-
has changed
they
like
got,
the
they got
direction.
some network
Yes.
notes.
So then Bolt loses it. Can you imagine being put in his trailer and now he's like, what?
Penny's
Like
out there. She
Yeah.
needs me.
So
Penny,
that's never happened.
Penny's out there. She needs me.
And the cats
That's
are
never
antagonizing
happened to him before.
I like to start with an evil laugh.
Oh,
the
his
cat's
evil
like,
laugh was weird.
And he's like, no, let me do the evil
I
laugh.
literally, and I'm sorry, I'm just not a cat person, but I think that's how cats truly are. Like, let's make
Evil.
an evil laugh and antagonize the dogs. Because I know they are, because I see the cats outside my apartment all the time picking on my dog.
One of my favorite memories of living in the current place that we're at, I think you guys were here, but there's this cat that like lives behind us, and the cat's it's a nice cat. It like walks around, it'll let you pet it and stuff. Super cute. It's black, it has like little cute white ears. Anywho, one day we're sitting here, it was like early summer, we had the windows open, and I had a succulent up on our gate up on the top. It's sitting there, and we literally are sitting there, and I see the cat jump up there, and everyone looks out the window, and the cat jumps up there, looks at us, and then just takes its hand and swats the succulent right off on the floor and literally like destroys it. Like the succulent's all over my patio now, broken into a million ceramic pieces, and the poor succulent's like, Mom, help me.
Yeah, that's cats
And that
for
cat
you.
just
And the
looked at
cat
me.
is like, what are you going to do
It
about
looked at me, did it, and then looked back and then jumped off. And I was like, what? I thought we were friends.
I
I
came
totally...
here to ruin
But
your day.
that's a cat move for sure. Like, that's a cat. And so they do.
Were you guys not here with that?
I
No,
don't
but
think
you
so.
did
No,
tell
I've
me
never
that.
heard
Oh my
story.
gosh, that was the funniest thing ever, because the cat was just like, well, sucks to suck, lady. I'm like, well, okay.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, I agree with you that cats just think that it's hilarious, which then gets us into where Bolt gets himself in trouble. So he's out trying to find some Penny, trying to save her and everything, and he ends up in going through a crazy way into a packing box and
Yes.
gets shipped from LA
Packing peanuts,
to New York
Yeah.
City.
which is
That's insane.
wild.
An extremely long ride.
All the while thinking that he has superpowers,
Yes.
but they're just inaccessible to him at this moment.
What do you mean?
Yeah, somewhere right before the end of the trip, I think he discovers it.
Well, no,
Well-
he realizes it when he gets out of the box.
Well, because
When he gets out of the box, but then he thinks the styrofoam
yeah, he
weakened him.
thinks the styrofoam is like his kryptonite, so he still thinks that he
His
has
kryptonite.
So
has
funny.
superpowers, but he's been weakened
I've
by
been
the
weakened
evil
by
styrofoam.
styrofoam.
I think by
Yeah.
when he goes, and there was halfway through across the country.
Through the trip. Yeah.
Halfway across the country, he realized.
Yeah. We're saying before that.
Sweetie, we're talking about when he's going to New York, not when he's coming back from New York.
Oh, you guys mentioned cross country trek.
Well,
so.
he had to get there somehow.
Right. He got shipped over, and then he had to make the trek along the highways.
Which I agree with you. Halfway through, then he finally realizes. But once he first gets out of the box in New York, he thinks that it's the styrofoam that
He thinks the styrofoam
Which
is
is
weakening him because he's
brilliant.
trying to do all these things. He's running into fences because usually, the fences and the walls break.
Oh my
and he's
God.
like, the styrofoam, it has weakened me, which is literally the most dramatic thing I've ever
They're
heard.
little pink packing peanuts, and they're just so squishy, and he's so afraid of them.
And then he meets 3 pigeons.
I like those pigeons, the way they
the
talk.
New York pigeons.
they're little Italian pigeons.
Where's this
Hey.
dog from? I've seen this dog before. I swear.
Hey, yo, dog,
So funny.
quit struggling. Just move over like this and pull out.
Turn your
And
head.
he's all, nah, it'll work. You'll be out in no time.
I thought they were going to pick on him immediately.
Oh,
I
so
thought
did
they were
I.
gonna pick
Yeah,
on him,
they
but they were
helped him
nice
out.
to him. I appreciate that.
Well, and it's so funny because in every scene where a pigeon says something about knowing him, they're like, I know him from somewhere. And behind him
The bus
is
is-
a bus with his face
With
on
his
it. Or
giant
Or
dog
they're
face on it.
literally
Billboard.
they're literally sitting on the billboard that has him or the paintings on the side of the building. It's like, come on, pigeon.
so funny.
Bird brain. That's what they did. They were like, let's have him have bird brains.
I kept thinking during that particular scene that Bolt was going to look over and see himself
Yeah.
on the bus.
No, he didn't.
But knowing that dogs don't have like object permanence, so like when they look into mirrors, they don't recognize that it's themselves. I thought they were going to do some dog humor with that, but they didn't.
No. They just had everyone oblivious.
Which was funny.
Which
I
They
liked
had us
that.
Great.
omnisciently laughing. So then the story moves on, and we see literally an alley cat taking these same types of pigeons and their friends and completely coercing them into feeding her
Yeah.
Like-
Gathering food.
100%.
Half of
And-
their food every day has to go to the cat mob boss.
And she is a mob boss. She totally runs it well.
She's running those pigeons.
And but because the pigeons have figured out that he thinks he has superpowers, they're going to use him to get the cat so that they don't have to do her evil bidding anymore.
You know what kind of got me was like, you guys are pigeons. Just
Fly away. You don't have to deal with this cat
Yeah.
at all. But
Well.
that's their neighborhood, you know? They're not going to be terrorized.
Yeah,
or,
but
or
she's
they will be
protecting.
terrorized.
I will
But
be
she's
terrorized.
protecting those birds from the other cats. Remember, that was the
Yeah,
deal.
she's running a protection racket, so she's not really protecting them from other cats, I don't think.
I really appreciate that. I think that's a really smart
It's hilarious.
Business model.
It's a very good business model.
Yeah.
You're going to give me half of everything you have, and I'm going to protect you from a non-existent threat.
Hey,
You're welcome.
This is a tough neighborhood. There's a lot of scary cats around
Sounds
here.
like Negan.
It's like, I will eat
exactly
you.
like
I will
Negan.
put these claws on you, which you would never. So funny.
Well, and it was funny, too, because I called it right when she said, like, oh, I'm going to stick these claws on you. I don't have any. She's like, I don't have control over them. They have a mind of their own. And I looked at Louise. I'm like, dude, this cat is totally declawed. Like, that's so funny. Oh, my gosh.
I'd show you the claws. I don't. I was waiting for the
Just
rest. and I
such an
couldn't-
awkward
Couldn't
pause.
think of it, guys. I'm kind of sleepy today. Anyway,
It's because you've been Spider-Manning it up.
listen, we don't have to get into that right now.
Oh.
The new Spider-Man game just came out,
And I've been playing.
and
it
Andre didn't sleep.
nonstop. Listen, I didn't get a lot of sleep.
Don't worry, I didn't sleep either. I was worried about my wallet that's lost. So
Two.
You know,
different
on a brighter
lives that
note,
we
Do you want to
live.
know? Do you want to know why Michelle didn't sleep? Michelle, why didn't you sleep?
Because Andre and I got engaged.
Oh, that's right. Hey,
Boom.
announcement. Walt listeners, me and Michelle are officially engaged.
Woohoo!
We did it at Disneyland.
They stuck together.
Yeah,
We're stuck.
forever.
We've already
Now
been
you have to
stuck.
give me half of everything you have so that I
Wait a
can
minute.
protect you
Hang on a
from
second.
From the crazy guests that want to come to our wedding.
It's
Okay.
a marriage protection racket.
marriage protection racket. Boom.
I'm not giving you
Yes,
half of my food.
yes.
That's a lot.
If you guys want to see the engagement proposal video, you could follow Andre on Instagram
Yeah. Andre Morton Jr.
at Andre Morton Jr. and you guys can watch it. It was great. Maybe we'll
your
repost
dad's
it.
an Andre?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah, dude.
You didn't know
Hey.
that that's why they call him Junior?
Yeah, that's why they
I
call
didn't
him
even know
Junior.
they called him Junior.
Oh.
I didn't even know his name was Andre.
Luis doesn't know me that well.
I'm joking.
We went to
I didn't know-
just got real awkward.
I didn't know that you were a junior.
Yeah.
we went to a show last night at the Gallows Center, which is our theater, basically where we're from. And his ticket said, "The Honorable Andre Morton Jr. II." And I was like, "Whoa, that's
I saw that.
crazy."
You sounded really fancy on that ticket.
It was very fancy.
Did anything say it on yours or no?
No,
I bought
because he bought
both
my
of our
ticket,
tickets.
so they both had his
So
name on
It
it.
was just like-
it was just Andre's name.
AU.
Wait, did
Hey,
your
girl.
comedian friends put the honorable part, or does Gallo just?
No,
do
I
it?
think that's just
the
Gallo.
Gallows Center did. I was like, ooh.
We ain't never put no honorable Ruiz on mine.
We were in the second row though, so maybe that's why
Oh. Yeah, we always in the back.
VIP.
we were VIP last night.
That's
Well, it was fun.
hilarious.
It was great.
Yeah,
Anyway.
so we're engaged. Woo woo,
Yeah.
And that's why nobody slept. Oh, you
Right.
want to know why I didn't sleep?
baby.
Yep. We're having another baby.
Oh, baby root number 2.
Baby root number 2.
Yeah.
Baby root
So-
number
Yes.
2.
We all got reasons for not sleeping.
Yes.
And we also got reasons for celebrating. So let's clink this coffee and talk about Bolt. Boom.
Nubbins.
Clink.
Nubbins. Boom, boom.
That's the sound of coffee clinking.
And nubbins, nubbin.
Yeah. So that's been the celebration portion of the podcast. Thank you guys for listening. Where were we talking? Where were we at in the story? Mittens and Bolt are meeting
Yeah, so basically he captures Mittens.
because
He's
he
like-
thinks that she is an evil follower of the
Dr. Calico.
Doctor.
Oh God, Dr.
Which is
Calico.
really funny. We didn't really hit on that, but the TV show that Bolt is on is his nemesis is this dude who has cats as minions, and his
Yes.
name is Dr. Calico.
Dr. Calico.
So he is in 100% belief that all cats work for
Dr.
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 Calico,
Calico.
which is absolutely hilarious because he can't differentiate between reality and TV because he
Right.
thinks it's all real. So he totally thinks this cat, Mittens, is doing his evil bidding while she's doing her own.
Her
so
own
good.
bidding.
Dr.
So good.
Calico.
Yeah, so he
It's a
captures
good
her and
name.
is like, "Listen, take me to Los Angeles,"
The
basically.
the green-eyed man, is that what he calls him?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, the
He has
green eye,
one
'cause he has like a
eye,
green
and
cat
it's like
eye.
a cat eye.
Yeah.
Calico cat.
So she finds this map of the country and is like, "We got to get all the way
Stop.
over here."
Back up. Finds a map of the country on like this map is from a
dumpster.
restaurant.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
like
in a
it's like a
dumpster.
kid's menu. or
Yes,
something
it's like
that.
a kid's menu, and then each spot, it almost looked like a waffle or maybe
Oh,
toast
that's
or
right. Yes,
something.
it is waffles. I think it's like all the locations of like the Waffle Houses
Yes.
across the country.
So she's like, we're here at this Waffle House, and it's like the one in New York, and then they literally track their trip based on which waffle they're at, and it's so good.
Which is hilarious.
That's fantastic.
Yes, it's
This
quite
Waffle
funny.
House is doing quite well as a franchise because they got locations.
They're trying to be
everywhere.
IHOP, but
Yeah.
I don't know. They ain't international, so.
Or Denny's.
Yeah,
You
one of-
know.
one of the
Hey,
two.
we ain't talking about no Denny's.
Anyway, we don't talk about Denny's
Ah,
on this
we
show.
don't talk about Denny's in here.
You know how I feel about Denny's.
So Bolt ties up Mittens with his leash. How did he get leashed? I don't
From
remember.
some lady at the dog park.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, she was gonna walk him.
Yeah.
With the
oh
the
yeah,
pack of
it was like the dog walker lady.
Hey, you want to sniff my butt first? Such a dog thing to say. Anyway, so
the
yeah,
adventure
now they got to
begins.
get across the country, and then they're getting across there, and then they come upon a trailer park,
Yes.
and then Bolt discovers that he's hungry
Right.
because I guess he's never felt hunger before.
Yeah, because he's lived on a movie set for
Oh,
most of his
must
life.
be nice, Bolt. You got Mittens over here.
Who's starving
Yeah,
all the time.
all the time. Pampered puppy over here.
So she has to explain to him what you're feeling is hunger, my friend, and you
Here's
need
the
to go beg.
antidote.
The antidote is to go beg for
So
food.
she has to teach him how to beg.
and he has
like
no
a puppy.
idea.
Like turn your head, turn it more. He's like, this is ridiculous.
It's really funny because like it's like a montage of him getting a bunch of food from all the people at the door. Oh, puppy! Oh, you're so cute! Oh, so, and then Mittens tries to like, get out of here, you stupid cat!
Like throwing
That was
stuff at
hilarious.
it.
I died.
I
laughing at that
screamed.
point.
I was laughing so
But it's
hard.
so true because because literally whenever I see a dog on the street, I'm like, oh, a puppy, and then I see a cat in my backyard, I'm like, get out of here, get skedaddle.
so funny.
Very
Poor
good.
She even
Mittens.
is like, "Ugh." I knew it wouldn't work.
You know, but she eats well. She says her stomach gets distended. She's like, wow, her stomach is distended. So she wants to make it a little home, but he doesn't want to
Yep.
live there.
Bolt's on a
And
mission.
then they come across an old lady trailer who has about probably like, I bet she has like at least 20 hamsters in there.
It was kind of creepy.
Yeah.
It was kind of freaking me out.
She had
had
the
a lot of
whole
hamsters.
hamster cage with interconnected tubes and stuff like
Yes.
that. And then the one hamster that
Rhino
doesn't care
likes
about
to
any of
watch
that,
TV.
He's watching TV.
That's an Andre hamster.
Oh yeah, that me and that hamster got along great as when I was a kid, just watching TV all day,
All day.
living vicariously through the lives of TV stars.
And it's funny because, like, at this time, Mittens is trying to convince Bolt that he's crazy. Like, he's not a super dog. But then Rhino comes along, who is totally like, oh my God, it's Bolt. And so he just completely ruins Mittens' plan to
Right.
try to get to stay there.
'Cause
He
Rhino-
reinforces that fantasy.
Rhino also has delusions of grandeur, and
Yes.
he thinks that everything on TV is real. So he's like, oh yeah, Bolt's totally a superhero. He's got supervision. He's got the sonic bark. He's the best.
and immediately he's like, all right, I'm leaving with you. We're going to go find Penny. And like Andre said, I'm ready to kill anyone who gets up in our way.
Literally,
Like, all
I'm
right.
pretty sure that Rhino is the best sidekick ever.
Ever.
Like, he was
for breakfast.
He was saving them in, like, the train thing that was happening. Oh, my God. If it wasn't for Rhino, they would have all been dead. He's like, oh, I will get that cat. And he's like, trying to save him.
There's no way that he could ever
Rhino.
save them, and he does every single time.
I
It's so
love
fantastic.
Rhino.
Like, I was enjoying this movie before Rhino, but when Rhino comes into the movie, he really steals the show.
100%.
And in my notes, like, once Rhino shows up, I don't stop talking about Rhino. Like, I barely care about
It's very
Bolt anymore.
comparable to, like, how I enjoy Mulan, but then once Mushu comes on screen,
Yep.
it's like, oh, time to party.
Right.
Like, that's how I felt about Rhino. He was the
was
best.
too funny.
Yeah.
He made the movie for me, hands down.
So then the rest of the movie is kind of like a Homeward Bound situation with...
Yep.
Yeah, literally Homeward
A
Bound.
less sad
Right,
Homeward
yes,
Bound,
less
though.
sad.
Yeah.
I think it's less sad because they're cartoons and not real dogs. and
Basically,
cats.
they're figuring out. Bolt is now realizing that he's not super, and so Mittens is trying to teach him how to be a dog.
Right, like a real normal.
Which is hilarious.
It
now
is
he
quite
has
funny.
to learn how to do all of the things he should instinctually know how to do.
Right.
It's like a whole
Instinctually?
montage.
Instinctively?
Instinctively.
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 I don't know.
Instinctively.
You nodded your head like I was right.
I instinctively think it's time for a battle.
Oh,
Dun 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 doggy battle.
I knew you were going to say that.
Get too predictable with me.
Alright, this week,
I think while you're singing the song, like, what is he going to say?
Doggy battle.
Sorry, Andre. I mean, whatever your name is.
Louise.
to
Please.
continue on with the topic of this cross-country journey,
Oh.
Andre, I think Michelle and Ems are going to hate me for this one, but this
Lord.
week's battle,
Can't wait.
whose long journey was full of more danger? Homeward Bound or Bolts?
I just rolled my eyes so hard I gave myself a headache.
Ready, go.
Full of more danger?
Which
You
one
mean
has more danger?
Porcupines?
That's
So-
the only thing I remember from Homeward Bound. I'll run my.
Okay,
I'll
so
let you know.
I'm trying to remember Homeward Bound.
Porcupines.
Yeah, that's what I
which
remember.
came
So
out
dangerous,
in
y'all.
1993. But okay, yes, there is.
They fell into a river,
So
for
yes,
sure.
there's a river.
Grizzly bear.
There's
Yeah,
a
there's
river
a grizzly
that they
bear.
have to traverse. There's a grizzly bear. There's a evil porcupine that hits up.
That
the poor pit bull
the
dog
pit bull's face.
I just remember that scene so vividly, and they were trying to pull the spikes
was
out.
so
of him.
sad.
Yeah, it's very
Very vivid.
vivid. Yeah, it's a lot of gore in that movie.
I know the cat gets like washed down the river. Oh, poor kitty.
Yes.
I just remember crying.
Yeah, because that movie is very sad.
I remember crying in that movie, and I did not want to cry in this one. I was very hopeful the entire time.
Yes, but in this one, I mean, I think they are facing higher levels of danger because they're farther away from home.
It's
than the
definitely
Homeward
higher
Bound
levels
pets.
of danger. Like, they literally jump on a train. They jump
Exactly.
out of a moving car. But I think the difference is seeing cartoon characters versus Homeward Bound. They're freaking real animals. I mean, I
Yes.
know that they're
No, yeah.
not
No, but
necessarily.
here's the deal.
But it's like, whoa.
Let's not look at the reality of it. Let's look at the dangers.
Are we talking about like?
Like life or death.
No, every type of danger. Any type of obstacle that could be a danger.
Well, I feel like jumping onto a moving train is probably
Way
like,
more dangerous
very
than
much
the
more.
porcupine. But the grizzly
Yeah.
bear, I don't know. Grizzly
Yeah.
bear is
They
dangerous.
Bolt
didn't
didn't have to face a bear.
No, but he did make like that, and he had to face an animal shelter,
That's true.
Yikes.
the county
Yeah.
animal shelter,
wait,
which was
hold
real
on.
scary.
Homeward Bound did too.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh yes, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
they got locked in an animal shelter at one point, and then they sang that one song that I can't remember at the moment. Anyway.
No. Nobody else but you.
Different dog movie.
Oh, okay, never mind.
So I think I'm still trying to remember the rest of the stuff that happened in Homeward Bound.
It's such a great movie, but it's so freaking sad.
But I think I would say that Bolt and the gang faced more dangerous situations
and they
across
had
their
the fire.
journey.
Come on. Well, didn't they get out of fire in this one too? Didn't the house catch on fire in Homeward Bound?
That might be Homeward Bound 2 or something like that. I don't remember.
Oh God, there was multiple.
Oh yeah, there was a second one. So yeah, I think Bolt and them faced more danger because when they got out of that animal shelter, they blew up like a whole car and stuff like that. And
Fantastic. The whole signage.
Rhino
fell
was
over.
like, "Wow,
I never thought I'd get to see a super bark.
it was amazing. Yeah.
So good.
But yeah, the danger in Homeward Bound is a lot more visceral because they are real dogs. But for dangerous situations, I will vote for Bolt.
I would agree with Andre only because if you're thinking about it in like real terms, that is more dangerous what they went through. But for me, the way I felt about that danger, in no way did I feel like Bolt was going to get trapped.
Right.
Like,
no.
Even though he isn't a super dog, like because of his like super cute determination, like he's going to get out of it.
Right.
But
Yeah.
in like Homeward Bound, I remember feeling like, these dogs are going to make it home.
Never gonna get home. They're
You
never
know?
God, Homeward Bound."
See that little-
There was no doubt in my mind that Bolt and Mittens and freaking Rhino were going to make it home.
Yeah.
at
Oh,
all.
I'm going with Homeward Bound, hands down, just because that movie was so intense. That was dangerous. God, poor Homeward Bound puppy doggies.
I've never been more scared of porcupines in my life than after watching that movie.
Yeah.
Poor
All right,
Chance.
so Homeward Bound for Michelle and
Bolt.
Bolt. I'm going to have to go with Bolt, too, simply because Journey was longer, and
Yeah,
they
farther.
did face some natural kind of danger. I mean, it literally looks like they hiked up the Rocky Mountains. In the
Right,
snow.
yeah.
And then not only that, but they also got into the desert where it's extremely hot. So they not only had those dangerous situations, but they were facing, in my opinion, way more dangerous elements. So
They were, but they were a lot better at it than the Homeward Bound dogs were. Like Emily said, I never feared that Bolt and them were hungry or like all of these crazy things
Right.
were happening. They had skills.
Yeah. Or at least they believed they had more skills.
Right, yeah.
Like, we're going to make it.
Fake it till you
It's-
make
it's
it type of
happening.
thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was a
All
good
right.
battle. It was a sad battle. Brought bad
Sad
sad
battle.
memories.
Dun 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 dun. Road trip battle.
Hey, big battle.
Sad battle.
Sad
Very
battle.
nice. Very nice.
They made it home, you guys. Everybody made it home.
How do you know they didn't die on the trip?
Because I saw the end of the movie.
Like Donner Party.
they ate each
Oh
other.
my God.
So the two dogs
Oregon
ate
Trail.
The cat.
Yeah, the two dogs that ate the cat.
It's the Oregon
So
Trail.
the cat totally made it out and then killed him. And then laughed maniacally.
Maniacal laugh. Maniacal laugh.
Maniacal laugh. Maniacal laugh. Love it.
All right, so what else is happening? They're on their
Okay,
journey.
so they get to LA, right? Okay, well, I guess we should say they get to Las Vegas. They get to Las
Oh
Vegas.
yeah, they stop in Vegas for a
They
while.
stop in there for a while.
in like a back alley between casinos, and there's just like
And this is
food
when
waste all over the
It's
place.
a smorgasbord.
It's
Yeah.
heaven.
And basically, Mittens makes them a house. And
Louise
then
hates
it's
that
like,
word. I just had to use it.
we got flashbacks to Toy Story 2. It was like, when somebody loves you, everything was
It's tasty.
wonderful. No, because Mittens was saying that she got thrown away, just
Oh,
like
yeah.
Jessie. So we were like, oh, this is Toy Story 2. You
Yeah.
know, that was like her sob story. It was-
Mittens'
She was
backstory.
abandoned by
I
her
just couldn't get
owner.
over the fact that like Disney animated straight up Las Vegas. It wasn't like a.
That's right.
It
No,
wasn't
it was like
an-
Las Vegas, yeah.
No, it wasn't like a almost Las Vegas. Like,
It was-
oh no, this is totally reminiscent. No, it was like the Bellagio.
Yeah.
and like
That's right. They had the fireworks going on.
like it was 100% the water show. Like
Yeah.
they did a very nice job.
They did Vegas, and they did it big.
Well, they did the most beautiful, spectacular parts of Vegas,
Right.
in the dirty back alley. But they were enjoying it.
Yeah.
They got some grub.
They even went to like the neon sign place.
Mm-hmm.
They was grubbing.
Are you hot, Andre? You look hot over there.
No.
You okay?
I think I'm good.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I don't know. I was worried about his temperature.
His temperature. That's his tired face.
Oh,
Yeah.
He's got
You
Spider-Man.
fan yourself when you're
Spider-Man
tired?
sleepies.
I think I had an itch.
Was it an itch?
Yeah.
Well, you
I was
itch while you
scratching.
fan? That's weird.
Yeah. And I
Or you
did some
fan
of
while you
this.
itch?
Listen,
Was it a scratch or was it an itch?
It was an itch.
multitasking.
Louis said I'm off task.
Back to Bolt.
Yeah, so basically, Mittens is like, listen, you're going to get abandoned. Penny doesn't love you. She's an actress. And he's like, no, she loves me. I'm going to go find her. So he decides to leave, and he leaves Mittens and Rhino behind. And when Mittens tells Rhino in the morning that Bolt left to go find Penny, he's like, all right, well, let's go. I think he says like something like, well, you don't wait for them to like tell you to come. Like, you just go. Type of thing. So that was good old Rhino saving the day. He was doing a little lovey-dovey quotes, and then they.
I think in that scene right before Rhino left, he rolled out of bed or whatever, and he was like, "Oh man, that meat lover's pizza is not loving me back." Everything Rhino says in this movie is gold. It's fantastic.
Meat sweats. Like,
The meat, he got
Definitely
the
had
meat
the meat
sweats.
sweat.
Oh, Rhino.
He got him pretty good.
it's so good. So good.
So yes, they go to LA to get Penny. Penny has another actor dog that looks exactly like Bolt.
Right, they got a new
Yeah.
white shepherd to play Bolt.
They
on the
hired a new
show.
shepherd.
So Bolt,
But it goes terribly wrong.
yeah, real Bolt walks in on a scene that Penny and new Bolt are rehearsing, and he sees Penny loving on new Bolt as if he's old Bolt, and he gets very dejected and sad and walks away. And that's the saddest part of the movie. I did not like that part. It made me upset.
Because you know why? Because we were picturing Dougie. Like, if Dougie had seen us with another dog like that, he would have been like, what?
And then he just walks away.
That's my parents.
No. But then it's so sad because in the same moment, in true Disney fashion, same moment, she's like, turns to her mom and is like, I miss real Bolt,
Yeah.
Mom. And Mom's like, I know, me too.
Which is so sad. I can't even imagine. If you, listeners, if you have a dog, you could totally relate to this. But just imagine your dog getting lost. Like, that has to be the worst, absolute worst feeling in the world.
Yeah.
Louise just made the weirdest rat face ever.
Hey, that was my impersonation of Rhino going up in there and snapping necks.
Oh, God. Yeah, so they come to save the day, right? They come to tell Bolt, like, Penny does love you or whatever. And Rhino sees one of the bad guy minions of Calico.
He's just hanging out on set.
Oh, my God. And he's just...
He
I don't even know what
immediately
he
attacks
says.
him.
He just attacks him.
He rolls up against his legs.
Yeah, and the funny thing about it, you see it like in his perspective going all crazy fast and everything. Then you bring it to the human perspective. He's just hitting them accidentally. Or
And I think
like
the
a little
human is
roll.
like, oh, I had a hamster just like you. And he's like, you better run. Yarr. Yelling at him.
I'll
the
get
human
you next time.
He's just like squeaking. It's great.
That's
It's
fantastic.
hilarious.
Oh man.
But yes, during this rehearsal, things go bad and the whole set catches on fire. So that's crazy.
Yeah, they do apparently like the most dangerous stunt ever in Hollywood, and then so
The dog gets scared, right?
This is where my suspension of disbelief I lost it right here because they strung Penny up and they like pulled her up high above everything else.
I know what you're going to say because Louis said this too.
Because
Go ahead.
she's like in the scene, she's trapped by the evil Dr. Calico or whatever, and then stuff starts to go wrong on the set. And everybody just abandons Penny completely.
That's what Louise
She's
said.
the 12-year-old star of this show, and everybody's like, well, I'm getting out of here. Bye-bye, Penny. Peace out.
Literally
Bye,
the
girl.
worst.
I don't need to save your life. Handle it yourself. And she has to escape this harness and jump out onto the big puffball thing.
Which she does.
She does. She does good by herself, but on a real set, that should absolutely never happen. This whole studio would get
That
shut
was
down.
terrible.
Yeah. I did not like it.
It was terrible. I was like, what is going on? But, Bolt saves the day.
Real Bolt, not
Real
fakey.
Bolt.
Yeah.
His
Fakey's gone.
Fake Bolt done
Fakey ruined
bolted out of
everything,
there.
okay?
Oh, he bolted the hell out of there, Andre, for sure.
Yeah. So Real Bolt goes and saves the day, and he tries to get his penny and do the super bark. And I love when he does the super bark because he puts like one foot forward,
Yeah.
and then his little,
And his leg back.
and he's like,
I love it during the movie when he's trying to do it, even though he doesn't have superpowers, because he always does the wind up with the legs, and then he just stares for a really long time, expecting
oh,
stuff
for the
to melt.
laser vision. And he's like, if I stare at it long enough, it will melt.
And then he's like,
no, dude, that's not gonna happen.
Oh, we forgot one of my absolute favorite parts. I don't know if it's right as Bolt is leaving Vegas or right as he's getting into L.A., but he meets a new set of pigeons.
Oh, dude,
And
right?
they're like, "Oh, Bolt,
Oh, my.
you're Bolt. We have a great pitch for your show. Listen, this
So
is it.
funny.
It's fantastic. Are you ready for it? Are you ready? Aliens." We're pitching it to the network tomorrow, and then they're just these writer pigeons that I
But
love.
they're like literally LA hippie
Yes.
rider pigeons. Like
They wrote their screenplays at Starbucks.
And they're like, it's gonna work. You're gonna tell him you like it. Okay, good. And he walks away. They're like, oh yeah, he's gonna do
which
it
is
for us.
hilarious because at the end of this movie, Penny quits when Bolt saves her. She's like, we're done, right? She goes with her dog. They recast Penny. And what is it? Aliens.
They bought the script from the pigeons.
I totally appreciate that.
That's so funny.
They didn't buy no scripts from no pigeons.
They definitely bought the scripts from the pigeons.
It's
Yeah.
literally.
Aliens.
Oh my god.
They definitely bought the scripts from the pigeons. I don't know how they typed it out. I assume with their beaks on a typewriter. That's like.
You know why? Because
You're making it much nicer than I'm thinking. I'm thinking they just, Bolt told Penny
That's what I was gonna
aliens,
say.
and then Penny was like, "We leaving, and you should do aliens." Like they gave zero credit to
That's-
those birds.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
definitely what happened.
Zero-
And then they lived
no
happily
credits.
ever after.
Yeah.
Not the pigeons. They were sitting there watching their TV show, getting
no.
rewritten. That was my
Our idea.
Probably they're like, "Where's my money?"
I also really liked that in that ending sequence where right before you see the aliens, they have recast Penny and they frame it as like, oh, she got messed up in the last episode, so we had to do a complete facial reconstruction surgery on her.
So ridiculous.
Not even facial reconstruction. They like redid her. Like they didn't even try to make it sound like her voice. Like
Right,
it's a
yeah.
completely different
Completely
kid. And you're like,
different
yep, soap opera.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly. Just
Right.
like at a soap opera.
Okay.
I won't even lie. I couldn't tell the difference.
Oh my
She had
god.
freckles all
What?
over her face and her
And she was
eyes
like-
are all angled.
She was like, "Oh my god, Bolt!" No, it was
Hilarious.
funny. It was a really bad rewrite, and I didn't even.
But which
care.
is
Yeah.
funny though because
It's
it
fantastic.
was great.
yeah, there's a lot of like meta TV network commentary in this movie, which is interesting when that shows up in kids movies, because like I definitely wouldn't have got any of that
Definitely
as a
not.
kid, right?
Definitely
but
not.
but
No,
it's
no.
super funny to me now that I
And
know how all that
you
stuff
know
works.
what was the icing on the cake at the end of this movie? Is that they also took in Mittens.
Yeah.
And
Rhino.
Rhino.
And Rhino. They won't be having family.
Well, and it was cool for Penny too, because one of the we talked about it a little bit at the beginning of the episode, but it really kind of weirded me out at the beginning of the movie where Penny had to leave Bolt in the trailer over the weekend.
Right.
And she didn't get to have her dog be a dog.
Exactly.
So this poor
It
dog is
sucks.
just pretending to be or thinks he's a superhero, but doesn't actually get to be with his owner. And that means this poor little girl doesn't actually get to be
Get
with
to
her
be
dog.
with her dog unless she's working. Like she's at work
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
she gets to hang out with her dog.
Which is so sad because I just want to be with my dog like all the time.
just
I
wanna
can't
cuddle.
imagine
Yeah.
like how heartbreaking that must have been
I
for
do
that
wish
poor
I could
kid.
have my dog at work though. That'd be cool.
Well, that'd be great.
I will say though, one of the most underrated moments of this movie is when so we didn't really talk about him, but of course Penny has an agent because
Oh my god, that agent.
Penny has an agent because she's a
I
child star.
hated him.
And this dude is so annoying. Like he literally
Let's
does not.
put a pin in
You
it.
know what we're gonna do? We're gonna take a pin. We're gonna put it right in that. And we're gonna hold on to it. Get back to it later.
Like
The worst.
does not. And I don't mean to say that he's like completely uncaring, but he doesn't care about like what Penny wants.
Right.
He just cares about like the money
money.
he's
Her
making.
bottom line or whatever.
And you can tell the whole movie that the mom is annoyed, but she's just like, okay.
Yeah.
And then right at the end, he's like trying to tell her like, no, you're not leaving. And the mom is like, you're fired. Bye.
She was like, "We quit," and slams the door. I was like, "Get it,
It was
Mom."
so good.
Yes.
That mom was like,
Especially after, if you think about that whole agency and all those workers didn't try to save her child at all, I'd be so done.
Oh,
I'd be
yeah.
like,
Oh,
we
yeah.
are gone.
We're
Yeah.
outta here.
Sayonara.
I'm done with you. You
Yeah.
keep your fake
Sued.
Bolt.
She
It's
likes.
fine.
The mom really likes Mittens. She's like petting Mittens
Yeah.
at the end. It was so cute.
She's
Mittens
a
was
cat
like, "Oh
lady.
yeah, that's a spot."
I was
yeah.
I was worried that Rhino wasn't gonna get adopted. I wasn't sure if he was gonna pass the vetting process for the pet ownership at the Penny household, but I guess he got by.
He lives in a ball. They're fine
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah, I guess
Which is
they're
literally
protected from
hilarious.
him with the ball there.
Yeah.
He was
They
out-
don't know he's
He
dangerous.
was out of that ball. Whoo boy, watch yourself.
Woo.
Rhino's on the mission.
Bolt 2, he's out of the ball. He's out of the ball.
Rhino released.
I think
Rhino
I think
release.
they did do a short
Rhino unhinged.
featuring Rhino that we should have watched it before we started recording this. Hang
There's
on.
a short?
I believe so. Hang on, let me find out.
Oh,
what
we'll
it was
have to
called.
watch it for sure.
It's called Super Rhino. It's a video
we're
short.
gonna have to
yeah.
watch that after this.
Yeah, because Rhino is the best, and I
sounds
just
so
want
cute.
more and more of Rhino.
Well, then, sorry, everyone who's listening to this. You're just going to have to pop on over to the crack because we'll
Yeah,
be talking
exactly.
about it there.
Yes. All right. Fun facts, Miss Emily. Are there any?
Yeah. Oh, there's lots of fun facts in this movie, actually. But we missed one of the really fun quotes that he said. I have it written down for
God.
this opinion.
For
this
Rhino?
moment. Yes. He's introducing himself to Mittens and Bolt, and he says, "I'm Rhino. Rhino the hamster. Well, my ancestry isn't all hamster. I'm 1/16 wolf with, a little Wolverine in there somewhere."
Literally so funny.
And I'm thinking, he went on Ancestry.com and
Right.
figured this stuff out.
If I ever get a hamster, he will be named Rhino. That's
So good. So good.
Hopefully, he can match the ferociousness.
he's part Rhino too. I mean, his name's Rhino.
Of the real Rhino.
That's fine.
So, here are some fun facts and Easter eggs. So, a lot of these are in other movies where Bolt then appears.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. okay.
In Big Hero 6, actually, we haven't talked about Big Hero 6 yet, right?
No, we haven't.
And
done
I'm
that.
kinda-
we gotta watch that.
I'm kind of glad we haven't because that movie, I think, has the most Easter eggs in any movie.
Oh, really?
So far.
Wow.
It's literally chocked full.
Yeah.
But this one has 2. So remember Esther from the animal shelter?
Yes.
It was the lady whose car got blown up when they were trying to get out. So
she was so funny.
She
with
was
the pepper
very
spray.
funny. Yes. So at one point in the movie Big Hero 6, Hero walks into the police department with Baymax, and when they do that, you see the officer sitting at his desk, and he has 2 pictures on his desk, and one is of Esther, and the other picture is of Bolt.
Oh, wow.
So he and Esther.
That's weird.
I know.
Interesting family.
It's cool. So BFFs, right? We already talked about how animators took inspiration from Michael Bay. That is not surprise to anyone.
Yeah.
But a cool thing that the animators did is they brought in a giant inflatable hamster ball to get inspiration for Rhino's illustration
I love that.
and his movement. So the animators would take breaks and get inside of the human-sized hamster ball and roll around.
That is so fun.
Right.
I have a fun fact about the hamster ball. Apparently, the design of the ball was based on John Lasseter's pet chinchilla.
Yup.
He had a chinchilla that was running around in a hamster ball.
What the heck?
And he would bring it to
Chinchillas
the
are pretty
animators'
big.
retreats.
That's what I'm saying. That's creepy. That's a big old animal.
Yeah,
Animators
exactly.
take their job very seriously,
It's a big
y'all.
ball.
That's
and
also
because
pretty
the
fun.
chinchilla apparently wasn't the best reference. The ball was, but not the chinchilla. They actually ended up adopting a hamster.
Oh, really?
So they had the giant size ball, the chinchilla ball, and then their
Can you
own
imagine
hamster ball.
this is the mascot of the movie? Like, hey guys, little hamster. We draw pictures of him every day.
Well, it's so funny too because that's kind of what they did for Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know if we talked about this on the episode or not, but I had posted a picture about it that the director, who we will not talk about at this moment,
Sure.
he had a raccoon on
What?
set
Oh,
that
really?
helped him, which helped everybody with the movement and the tinkering
Right.
of Rocket. And when they did the red carpet reveal or whatever they call it, he brought the freaking raccoon.
Walked out the raccoon on the
Yes.
red carpet.
This is my pet raccoon.
He didn't walk it. He had the raccoon on his shoulder. He walked out like
Trico from Pocahontas.
I love it.
Miko.
Miko.
Why did I say Trico?
Miklo.
Trico may or may not be a Pokemon. Let's move on.
Miklo.
Oh, that is too funny.
This is an interesting one, and I kind of hate when this happens, but I guess you couldn't tell in the movie. But apparently, the voice actors for Bolt and Mittens, John Travolta and Susie Essman, never actually met or recorded together.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
I know that happens a lot, but it makes me sad because I feel like
Right.
they should be talking to each other when they're
Exactly.
recording.
You think that would bring a little bit more chemistry into the recording session?
Apparently, they need
But
zero.
I guess it worked out fine. Yeah.
Good for them. This one is a pretty obvious one once you see the picture, but the water tower on screen when Bolt, Mittens, and Rhino enter the film set in LA is a nod to Disney Studios water tower, and it's super unique because it has 6 legs, and apparently Roy Disney designed that because he thought it was more aesthetically pleasing than like a 2 or 4-legged water tower, so it has 6.
Okay.
So this one has
Interesting.
6,
The
and
Spider Tower.
I know, right? I think they're all ugly, but whatevs. You do you, Roy.
It's a water tower. It's not the most beautiful thing in the city, but sure.
Right? And apparently it has no water in it anymore, which is really
Oh.
interesting.
Okay, cool. So
But-
just hanging out up there.
Here is an interesting fact. Walt Disney Studios has its own fire department. So that might be a reason as to why the fire department got there so fast when the fire broke out. Because it was like immediate,
Right,
like the
yeah.
fire engines were there.
That
so.
fire was flaming real
Right.
quick, dude.
Yeah.
But
Fire
those
lit
were not
up.
Disney employees who left the child
Yeah,
up there.
exactly.
So,
No.
yeah, so anywho.
Get together production studio.
Right. Okay, so this is where we're going to get into a little bit of other fan fiction. So, was Inspector Gadget Disney?
Yes.
Is that a Disney thing?
Dun-na-na-na-na, Inspector Gadget.
I don't think it originally was because I think there was a cartoon.
Right,
No.
I'm talking cartoon.
Oh, I'm talking the movie. That was Disney.
The movie was Disney, but
Right.
originally, so in the cartoon Inspector Gadget, his number one nemesis is Dr. Claw, correct?
Okay.
And Dr. Claw had an affinity with cats. Is that correct?
He had a cat. He's like the classic image of a villain that has a cat on his lap,
And he's just,
is
like,
always
stroking it,
stroking
right?
the cat.
So
yeah.
he's
So-
CeeLo Green.
Yes, he's just like CeeLo Green.
Pretty much. So I read a couple articles, and pretty much all the different articles related back to how Dr. Calico and the man in the chair at the beginning of the movie is the same as Dr. Claw.
Dr. Claw.
Because so every time you saw Dr. Claw in his chair, it had like Mad and a cat. And then in the movie Bolt, we have the guy with like the sick tattoo on the back of his head of a cat. So they're
I
saying that like
see.
Dr. Claw might have been Dr. Calico.
Interesting.
But my question here is Dr. Calico the gentleman in the chair, or is he the one with the green eye?
Dr. Calico
He's
is
the
one
green
with
eye.
the green eye.
Okay, so
Yeah.
maybe
The
Dr.
other one's like his.
his boss though.
Yeah,
Right?
I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he was reporting to him.
So maybe Dr. Claw is the one in the chair, and Dr.
Oh.
Calico
It's like
is
his
the one.
Indian.
It's just a right-hand man.
And similarly, Inspector Gadget's niece, wasn't her name Penny?
Yeah.
That's right.
Her
yeah.
name was Penny, and she had all kinds of high-tech gadgets, just like our Penny did at the beginning of the movie inside
Yeah.
the TV show.
Yo, can we
That's
watch
very
the
interesting.
Inspector Gadget movie? Because that was my jam.
Well, it
I
wasn't.
don't like that actor.
What?
What's his name?
You don't like
I know his face.
Matthew Broderick?
No.
Oh,
Yeah, but I loved that movie
I
growing
don't
up.
remember it. So
Oh, I
yes,
watched
we
it
can
a lot.
watch it.
Not saying no, but I don't like that actor.
I watched that movie a lot as a kid.
Yeah. So yeah,
Very
the original
interesting.
cartoon of Inspector Gadget was not Disney. I think they acquired the rights before they made the movie.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, they just have quite a few similarities that are
Right.
interesting.
Interesting. I like it.
During the TV scene in the Ohio campgrounds where we first meet Rhino, he's watching TV, right? And he's moving forward in his ball to like click the TV shows,
Yes. Mhm.
right? To click the clicker. And we hear recordings from the show The Price is Right, Gilligan's Island, Press Your Luck, A-Team, where we hear Mr. T, right?
Yes.
And then we also hear the Wilhelm scream.
That
Yep.
wasn't it. That wasn't it.
That wasn't even
That was a interesting version.
I just did a scream, and that was not the Wilhelm scream.
So we hear a
I
lot
like
of
that.
classic TV shows,
Yeah.
which was really interesting. Another cool nod is that at one point we see Bolt's, what do you call that? His
Collar,
and the address on it is for Hollywood, and the address listed is the same as the Walt Disney Animation Studios.
Come
building.
on, so the shelter
is
people
basically where he
didn't
lived.
notice his collar and then said Hollywood. And, come on, he's a famous dog. They should have been like, oh my God, it's Bolt.
we got to get him back to the studio.
Right?
He was missing.
Right?
True.
Whatever.
I know. This one is a little less noticeable, I guess. But when they first get to the animation studios in LA, the security guard is asking someone in the car, "Have you seen Joe Mateo?" It's just like some random thing that she says to them, and apparently he's one of the storyboard artists.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know, like maybe he was
He got
always,
his name in there.
Maybe he was always out gallivanting, and they were trying to find out where he was. I don't know. Just making fun of him in the
Never
movie.
around.
Gallivant.
Who knows? And then the last one that I thought was pretty interesting is right at the beginning of the movie, we see that Bolt is inside of the Silver Lake Animal Rescue. And so true to the store, Silver Lake, which is actually Silver Lake in California,
Right, yeah.
is where Walt Disney first set up his animation studios when he came in California with Roy. And so it was like a nod to that, and it's actually
Those
super
were good.
close on the map
To
to
the studio.
the studios.
Those
that we
were
have
really
now.
good Easter eggs. I love when they do stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
So I thought those were really
cool.
interesting.
Those are good. Also, public service announcement: microchip your dog, people. Let's all microchip our pets.
Yeah, that way they don't get lost.
That was
across
my
the country.
public service announcement of animals for the day. Okay.
Well, I mean, they very well could get lost across the country, but at least people will know like where to
it's
send
happened.
them.
I've read stories where they're like, the dog was 5 states over or something, and then finally they get caught and they scan the microchip and they're like, oh my gosh, microchip your dogs. What did this movie make, money-wise? Although this was the era of Disney where there wasn't much money being made.
So
There was money being spent, but maybe not so much made.
this movie came out right before like the new Disney revival. Like it was right after Meet the Robinsons,
Okay.
and right before The Princess and the Frog. So
Oh.
so it was right before that time
was
where
on the cusp
they like resurged,
greatness.
with the high grossing movies.
So perfect example of being on the edge of glory.
Yes, exactly. So this movie had a budget of $150 million, which is pretty good, and it made back $310 million.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So doubled.
Which is pretty good. It had a good critical reception too. Like I think it had like a 89% on Rotten Tomatoes or something like that. But and it got nominated for Oscars and stuff. But it didn't win any of the Oscars because that year Madagascar 2 came out and Wall-E came out. So both of those movies ran circles around Bolt at the
Wall-E
award
was killing
shows
the game
and stuff like that.
Poor Bolt.
Yeah, poor Bolt.
I mean, I love me some Wall-E. So.
Yeah, and I think it really just got lost in the shuffle of animated movies during the
I didn't
year.
even remember it. Like
I didn't remember anything. I don't even think I've seen it.
No. I mean, I know I've never seen it, but I didn't even remember there being
That
a
it
movie
came out. Right.
like called Bolt.
So
Yeah.
we saw it on Netflix, and I was
And-
like, oh yeah, Bolt.
Yeah.
And for as good as it is, as much as we liked it,
It's quite
I think they
good.
should have pushed it harder. You
I'm
know?
just saying I would watch it
afterwards.
again.
But then,
Right,
like,
It
yeah.
was very
Like
funny.
we said, this was this like early 2000s era of Disney where like weird stuff was kind of happening with their animated movies. So
Sure.
even though I love Chicken Little, and that was from that era. So
Well,
whatever.
similarly, we talked about Meet the Robinsons a couple months ago, and
Which is great.
And that movie was really good. It was very different, but it just
Atlantis
didn't.
was great.
Yeah, but they just didn't get the.
There wasn't a hype for Disney movies at that point in time.
Well, it was all still the old hype.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And I wonder if it's because they were trying to get away from princesses. They were trying to get away from like what they had kind of built,
Yeah.
and they were going into this new kind of, not so much new animation, but new like story type animation.
Yeah.
And maybe it just wasn't that interesting at that time for people.
And I think this is also like a transitionary time as well. Like I think either this movie or right before this movie is when John Lasseter was taking over both the animation studio and Pixar. So they're still, working out some kinks in terms of where we're going to keep and where we're going to toss.
And we
from-
still got some good
from both
movies out of it.
companies.
Like
Yeah.
I think
I
this
think
movie's
so.
wonderful. So what are you gonna give this movie, Andre?
I think I'm going to rate this movie pretty highly. I think I'm going to give it an 8.5. It was really fun, hilarious. Oh man, I could watch all of Rhino's scenes again right now,
Yeah,
over
I
and
need a
over and over
YouTube
again.
I'm ready for you to
montage.
be done so we can watch the Super
Yeah, I'm
Rhino.
trying to
we're
watch-
watching
trying
Super
to watch
Rhino.
some Super Rhino. Oh, I'm so excited. Yeah, so 8.5. This is a great movie. I will watch it again at some point. It's good stuff, and I recommend it, especially if you've never seen it.
Like you need to watch
check it out. Yeah,
It's on Netflix right now. Go watch it, man.
yeah, watch it.
I like it.
I'm gonna give this movie an 8. Oh, Rhino definitely makes it for me. It's a good, solid movie. Yes, the storyline is predictable, but you can't go wrong with a super dog. I love superheroes. I love dogs. I love Rhino. So 8 out of 10, man.
I agree. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 too. I really enjoyed it. I will totally watch it again. I thought that even like Michelle said, even though it was predictable, it was creative in its predictability.
Yeah.
I liked that as they were going across country, they ended up like in those mobile homes, like the modular homes.
Yes.
They literally were like in a house that was traveling across the country.
That's
like
right.
That's really cool.
With the fireplace and the vents and
Yes,
stuff like that.
I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So I thought it was really cool that they were able to take that type of storyline, but still keep it really interesting to watch. So yeah, I super liked it. Louis, what's your score?
I will give this movie, I'm going to say 8.5.
8.5.
8.5. It was fun. It was definitely not what I remembered initially of it.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I was telling them that I don't have any trace of ever watching it after the end of the intro.
Right after that
So after
first.
Yeah.
that action scene. So 8.5.
Very nice. So, we're gonna watch Super Rhino. Tune in to Crack in the Vault to hear our thoughts on the Super Rhino short. But Luis, it is your birthday month. And what are we watching, finally, for your birthday?
Next week, we are going to watch the movie McFarland, USA.
McFarland Land, USA.
He's been talking about it since the beginning of the podcast, and we're finally going to watch it.
Which
McFarland, USA.
Which is so funny because from where we're located in Central California, on the drive to SoCal Disneyland when we go, you pass McFarland.
Yes.
McFarland. The city, the town or whatever. You see the running people on the little overpasses and stuff. And so every time I pass it, I just am reminded of Luis. I'm like, oh, yeah, I have to watch that movie. But we're doing it now.
It's
McFarland, USA.
That's right. 2 sports movies in 1 month. This is crazy. We're doing it.
Oh, my gosh. No.
So, yeah, I had, before Luis started talking about this nonstop, I had never heard of this movie before, so I don't even really know what to expect.
My parents saw this movie in the theater because my dad really, really wanted to watch it, and he said it was great.
Okay.
But I didn't go watch it with him.
Have you guys seen the movie $1 Million Arm?
No.
I haven't watched that either.
That's also a very good movie. That one I really, really like, which is funny because I don't like baseball, but it's about baseball. But that's one I think we should watch eventually, too. It's the same type of thing
Disney
here.
Right.
It's Disney. It's live action. Sports.
Mm-hmm.
But sports
underdogs,
but it has to do with
cricket.
So much fun, so much fun.
All
Anywho,
right, that's
so
what we're watching.
McFarland.
Yeah,
we're excited, Lou.
So check
McFarland
that out next week. In the meantime, you guys, we are on social media. We're at the Walt Vault Pod on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. All the social media places. You can send us a DM. Direct message to any one of those social media platforms, and we may read your message on the show. Or you can send an email to contact@thewaltvaultpod.com. That's a good way to get your message read on the show as well. If you want to help us out here on the Walt Vault, there's a couple of different ways you can do that. You can subscribe on whatever podcast platform you're listening to right now. We're on Stitcher and Google Play and Google Podcasts and iTunes, and that's where we would like you to leave us a rating and a review. That really helps us out. It helps us get seen by more ears. And if you want to help us out in a different way, you can shop on Amazon by going to thewaltvaultpod.com/Amazon, clicking the link, shop like you normally would on Amazon, and we get a small cut of whatever you buy. So buy expensive stuff, and we'll get a tiny cut of it. It works out for everybody. There's no additional cost to you. And the final way...
You can buy unexpensive stuff, too.
Yeah, you can buy cheap stuff.
Inexpensive.
That works. But
buy some movies.
But hey, if you're buying a TV, click the link first.
Oh my God.
And the final way you can help us out is by going to Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/thewaltvault, you can sign up for as little as $1 or more a month to get access to our after show, A Crack in the Vault, where today we'll be talking about Super Rhino, the best character in this movie. Also, I post my notes there, and if you sign up at the $5 or more level, you get a gift sent to you in the mail. Isn't that fun? It's fun stuff. That's it for now, you guys. We will see you next week. The vault is now closed.